Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Steelers legend brutally rips Mike Tomlin after newest disappointment in Week 14. The Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in a precarious position heading into Week 15 NFL action, grappling with a two-game losing streak against inferior opponents. This downturn has prompted widespread speculation about the team's struggles. Former Steelers quarterback and team legend, Ben Roethlisberger, has offered a critical perspective, pointing a finger at coaching as a potential source of the team's recent woes. Roethlisberger, discussing the Week 14 defeat to the New England Patriots on his podcast, highlighted what he perceives as shortcomings in Mike Tomlin's coaching approach. In the closing moments of that game, with just one more timeout, we'd have had another opportunity, Roethlisberger remarked. Losing timeouts due to avoidable penalties like too many men on the field or insufficient players on the field is detrimental. Burning unnecessary timeouts in the second half leaves you without them when you need them late in the game. To me, that's indicative of poor coaching. Given their extensive history together spanning 15 years from 2007 to 2021, Roethlisberger is intimately familiar with Tomlin's coaching style. Hence, the notable critique from the legendary quarterback adds a surprising element to the conversation about Tomlin's future with the Steelers. Roethlisberger went further to express a concern that the long-standing tradition of the Pittsburgh Steelers might be in jeopardy. This sentiment is underscored by recent locker room issues, including disruptive behavior from wide receiver George Pickens throughout the season and safety Minkah Fitzpatrick publicly calling out the team for a lackluster performance against the Patriots. Despite the challenges, the Steelers currently hold a 7-6 record and occupy a playoff position in the AFC for the time being. However, their grip on the second wild card spot is tenuous, with 5 other teams sharing the same record. The upcoming Week 15 matchup with the Indianapolis Colts carries significant playoff implications, and the Steelers face a challenging path ahead with matchups against the Cincinnati Bengals, Seattle Seahawks, and Baltimore Ravens to conclude the regular season. The urgency to rectify coaching concerns and address internal dynamics looms large as they navigate this crucial stretch. Steelers TJ Watt clears concussion protocol. The Steelers will have their best player back on the field this week. Steelers outside linebacker TJ Watt is no longer in concussion protocol after being cleared by an independent neurologist, per Steelers Senior Director of Communications Burt Loughton. Watt suffered a hit to the head in the Steelers' Week 14 loss to the New England Patriots on Thursday Night Football. He played the remainder of the game but entered concussion protocol the next day. The Steelers faced criticism online for allowing Watt to finish the game, as the defender retook the field wearing a tinted visor following his hit to the head. However, now Watt is cleared and good to go in the Steelers' upcoming game against the Indianapolis Colts on Saturday. It's a big matchup for both sides, as a loss would be devastating for either team's playoff hopes. The Steelers are still waiting for one more defender to clear concussion protocol. Outside linebacker Alex Highsmith, who lines up opposite Watt on the Steelers' defense, also entered the protocol after Pittsburgh's loss to the Patriots. Watt currently has the second most sacks in the NFL, with 14.0 this season. Son of Super Bowl winning coach, pegged as possible Steelers OC candidate. As is going to be the case a lot over the next 4 weeks, NFL insider Peter King addressed the problems for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense while appearing on 93.7 The Fan on December 12. While he didn't suggest specific candidates, King described in great detail what the Steelers should be looking for in their next offensive coordinator under Mike Tomlin. Think about the quarterback coach who's really young, or even the assistant quarterback coach, or think about whatever, who's got a commanding presence, who can command a room, King said while appearing as a guest on the Cook and Joe show on December 12. Find a guy, and also find the guy who Sean McVay doesn't want to lose. Find the guy who Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to lose. Matt LaFleur. Find that guy, and then you're gonna know that this is the guy we ought to interview and consider strongly for this job. King assumed in the conversation that Tomlin would remain head coach of the Steelers in 2024. During the discussion, 93.7 The Fan's Joe Starkey proposed San Francisco 49ers passing game specialist Clint Kubiak as a potential offensive coordinator candidate for Pittsburgh. Kubiak is the eldest son of former NFL head coach Gary Kubiak, who led the Denver Broncos to a championship during the 2015 season. But Kubiak's NFL experience began in 2013 with the Minnesota Vikings. He then joined his father's coaching staff as an offensive assistant in Denver the year after they won the Super Bowl. While King stressed that Steelers fans and media shouldn't be concerned about names, he was highly complimentary of the 49ers passing game specialist. "I am a fan of Clint Kubiak," King said. "I think he's really smart, I think he has a lot of his father in him, and I think he's got a lot of cutting edge in him as well." Kubiak is only 36 years old, but he already has an interesting resume. He's currently in his first season as passing game coordinator under Kyle Shanahan for the 49ers. But Kubiak's NFL experience began in 2013 with the Minnesota Vikings. He then joined his father's coaching staff as an offensive assistant in Denver the year after they won the Super Bowl. Kubiak remained in that position for 2 more seasons even after his father retired following the 2016 season. In 2019, though, Kubiak again coached with his father in Minnesota. Gary came out of retirement to join the Vikings staff as an assistant head coach. He then became the team's offensive coordinator in 2020. Clint served as the team's quarterbacks coach both seasons. He then replaced his father as the team's offensive coordinator in 2021. Clint returned to Denver as the Broncos quarterback/passing game coordinator last year before joining the 49ers. In his lone season as Vikings offensive coordinator, Minnesota finished 12th in yards and 14th in points. The Vikings were also 11th in passing yards and 17th in rushing yards while having the fewest interceptions in the league. Other than complimenting Kubiak, King remained general with the changes he suggested the Steelers make this offseason. But that doesn't mean they weren't important points. After all, the Steelers can't hire the right offensive coordinator until they devise a direction for the unit. "I think the one thing that Art Rooney really needs to do when it comes to the postseason decision is you gotta decide, are we gonna try to bring in somebody from the outside to revamp, maybe redesign, our offense?" King said. It's difficult to argue that the Steelers' offense doesn't need revamping. Pittsburgh hasn't been better than 21st in points or yards since 2020. Furthermore, the Steelers haven't been above 23rd in offensive yards since 2018. This season, the Steelers are 27th in points scored and yards. The transition from Ben Roethlisberger is likely the main reason for those offensive struggles. But more was expected from Pittsburgh's offense in 2023, and the unit regressed in Matt Canada's 3rd season as offensive coordinator. And you fan, what do you think of the Clint Kubiak situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.